Hey y'all, I apologize for the animal in the background if you can hear that. But what do we do when God gives people two distinct visions, both in the church? And what I mean by that is, what do we do when God calls one individual, even one group of people, one way, and God calls another group of people an entirely different way? You can fill in the ambient situation this isn't really situational, which is gonna be general. Turn with me, if you would, to Psalm 5, verse 1. Again, we're gonna be in Psalm 5, verse 1. Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation. Give heed to the voice of my cry. That's what we need to do. We need to pray for guidance, and we need to pray for the family, because most excuse me, most of the time, the people who feel given ways about things in the church, they're not looking to cause dissension. They're just looking to do the best they can to honor God with what God put on their heart. That's all they're looking to do. Now, keep in mind that doesn't happen all the time. Some people are just in a church and cause a ruckus to cause dissension. I mean, that's a hard pill to swallow, but some people are just in there to cause dissension. And that's when you need to pray. That's when you need to pray, hey, does God want me out? Is there a place for me in this anymore? And I understand that can be hard. It can be hard to just ask God, okay, God, do you want me to leave? Do you want me to leave the church? Especially if you have longevity in it. I mean, because you've been with the church, you know the church, you want to see your church do well. But ultimately, if it seems like something someone said, or just an argument you're fixing to have, you're fixing to be involved in with the church, with the deacon, with the people, with the preacher. If you feel like that's just gonna cause attention, and you feel God's calling you to just, hey, go somewhere else, then go somewhere else. Regardless of how hard that can be, and God knows how hard that can be. But regardless of how hard it can be, God knows what He's doing. I mean, God knows what He's called you to. God won't just say, okay, you need to leave the church, then so young, you need to figure out the rest on your own. No, He doesn't do that. He can either give you a new church right off the bat, or He'll just continue to be with you. He'll just heal you, and He'll just restore you, and maybe He'll reveal to you that, hey, thing, this things that churches argue about, they don't really matter. I mean, some of my greatest, some of my best revelations about the church that the Lord has given me has been outside the church. Because in the church you feel like you have to act one way, you feel like you have to think one way. Some people do. But that's oftentimes where revelation comes in outside of the church. But another thing that you do is you just say, okay, how can I help? How can I help this person? And most of the time you can say to them, hey, you feel this way, why don't you ask the deacons about it? Why don't you ask the preacher about it, or someone in authority in the church, and they can pray with you. They can pray with you. The will of God should more often than not be sought in the corporate setting. I'm reminded of that verse in scripture that says, don't forsake the assembling of yourself together. That's not just applied to a church. I don't think that can be applied to prayer too. Because like I say, the will of God should always be sought corporately. Because sometimes another person in authority, or like a deacon or preacher, can just give you clarity on what you're feeling. You may be feeling one way, but you may not fully understand how to give voice to it. But a person in authority can help you. That's why they're in authority, because they know what to do, and they know how to follow God's will and how to honor God. Some of the time that doesn't happen, but most of the time it does. I encourage you also, if you're final point, if you're in a church that you feel is worth sticking around for, and that you feel even in dissension you're gonna come out stronger, just be praying for strength. That can be a hard road to go down. I mean, to be in a church that's where the members cause dissension, maybe the preacher causes dissension. That can be a hard place to stick around. But you pray for guidance that, and maybe God said, okay, you just have to stick around for a while. I know it's hard, but I'll be with you. And when I'll be with you, just I've got you. I promise I'll never forsake you. I'll never leave you on your own. Dissension and different visions of the church can be a hard thing to grasp. They can. I'm still grasping it a little bit. I mean, I feel like I have a better understanding, but I'm still grasping that a little bit. But ultimately, what you need to remember is the people in the church, they come to church because they want to honor God. Most of them don't come hoping to God to send you and hoping to have anybody mad at them. They just come to honor God. And as such, they want to do whatever. They want to do whatever it feels in their heart that God has led them to do. I would encourage you not to. People have different visions. Don't ostracize them. Don't say, okay, well, he must not be a Christian because he doesn't feel the same way I feel. No, that that doesn't that doesn't cut it at all. Just pray for discernment on these things as David did. Just pray that God would give heed to your cry and just hear your meditation. Because ultimately, God knows what He's doing. And what He's doing is gonna get Him most glory. It is, I promise you. Guys, I love you. Thank you for listening to this video. And I'll see you next week. God bless you.